Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is with us now. This is his first national interview responding to Trump's border czar. Mr. Mayor, good to have you back on the show. Let's start here. Your reaction to Homan saying he's going to come after you if you stand in his way.
Well, unfortunately, and first of all, good morning and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Happy New Year to the people of the globe. Look, the president-elect and the former president of the United States of America, Trump, has demonstrated an incredible disdain for people. And my responsibility as mayor of the city of Chicago is to invest in people, to protect people, and connect them to the resources that are ultimately needed in order to build not just a better, stronger, safer Chicago, but to build an economy that's sustainable. This president.
What's he talking about? Building in a sustainable Chicago and all that bullshit. You don't need illegal immigrants to do that. You need to take care of the citizens who already have voted for you and put you in office, and you need to deal with the population that you have there, with the resources that you have, and those are what those resources need to be spent on. If you start spending the resources that were given to you by the federal government or by the taxpayers of Chicago on illegal immigrants, then you ain't doing your job. And you expect people to support that shit? You got to be out your mind.
Has shown disdain towards not just immigrants, but lovers of public education. He is dead set on abolishing the entire education department. As a former public school teacher.
This dude is an idiot. If you're a black person in the United States of America and you're crying and whining because they're talking about demolishing the Department of Education, look at the statistics. Look at where black people stack up educationally in this country. So we should hope that they demolish it. Hopefully we'll come out in a higher position because we're at the bottom. Test scores, every way you can think of, we're at the bottom. And this dude is sitting here whining and crying about the Department of Education. I don't think it could be remade any worse than it currently is unless they do it on purpose. And I don't believe that we're at that stage. I think we can come out of this a little bit better than we were going into it, because I just can't imagine. I've never had a really good thing to say about the Department of Education. It's as racist as at its core as most institutions in the United States. And things that have existed for over a century or even several decades need to be re-examined. The country's on the move, and things are changing, and things aren't always going to be the same. And hopefully people with the small-mindedness of this mayor get out of the way and let this country develop properly, because he's in the way.
As a product of public education, as someone who sends my children to public schools, working people around this country want public education to work. He has shown an incredible animus towards public housing. Public housing has been...
Public housing. Education, now public housing. Who is this guy? Do he live in fucking public housing? Nobody wants to live in public housing. Public housing is not good. It isn't good. And if you're an illegal immigrant, you come here and get public housing, you'd be pretty excited and pretty happy. But where are the resources coming from to afford that housing? And why wouldn't it be distributed to someone who is struggling and who is here as a legal citizen? That's all I'm saying. This Brandon Johnson is like against his own city. How could you be the mayor of Chicago when you want more for people who aren't even citizens, for people who didn't even vote for you?
The way in which families have found true stability, their ability to experience a human right. He has demonstrated a contempt towards vouchers, which would ultimately make it hard for...
There's another one. That sounds like Kamala right there. Kamala Harris is shit. Vouchers. Why must vouchers be waved like carrots in front of poor folks? And if you do get your vouchers out there, as many and all that you would like, what's going to happen when you ain't in office no more? What's going to happen when you get defeated in an election, which is going to happen? Then what? Then the next guy who comes in ain't with the vouchers. Can you do something that's going to give people some permanency in their life? Something they can look forward to long term, and not a voucher just because they voted for you, and it's not going to change anything but maybe a week of their life. You can do better than that, Brandon.
families to access affordable homes. We built 3,600 affordable homes in the city of Chicago since I've been in office. He's also shown a great deal of evilness towards the Department of the Environment. He doesn't believe in science. 20% of the world's fresh water is right here in the city of Chicago. We can build a green, blue economy to create real, sustainable opportunities for people. And so he has
real, sustainable opportunities for people. What in the fuck did that mean? What is he talking about? What is a real sustainable opportunity? Wouldn't a real sustainable opportunity be an opportunity that doesn't include illegal immigrants, where you can move freely about your city and not have to even worry about it? It's not even an issue. And in fact, why don't we take all that energy from these sanctuary cities? Because if you drive around most of these cities that call themselves sanctuary cities and sanctuary towns, and we'll go as far as to say sanctuary states, go to the downtown sections. Do they look like sanctuaries? A sanctuary for what? Rats, roaches, people dying, people on drugs? Is that a sanctuary city? Because that's what the downtown portion of the sanctuary cities looks like. And if it does, no one wants to live in a goddamn sanctuary city. We want our cities to be built for American citizens who are here legally. That's it. If you physically get into one of these cities, you are not a citizen. You must be removed and you got to go. People who live in those cities have to be legal, law-abiding citizens. That's just all it is to it. They're even trying to negotiate now where they're saying if you're a major criminal, fuck that. If you are in the United States illegally, you should go. That's just it. There should be no, oh, we have to, why? Why do we have to negotiate illegal from legal? That's it. Once you come into the United States, unless you come in the proper way according to the laws of the United States set by Congress, you're here illegally and you need to be removed because you're taking resources away from people. You're harming American citizens. That's all I got to say. It's a terrible thing.
Not just shown animus towards immigrants.
Yeah.
He has shown a great deal of animus towards working people across the city of Chicago, and it is my responsibility and it is my joy to protect all residents of this beloved city.
But he thinks that residents of the city are people who come there illegally, and that's where I think he's having a little bit of a problem with some of his supporters, former supporters. People are pissed off about that. How do you feel if you vote for somebody and then the resources and the things that they could be doing in your community to build up your parks and the services that your family needs are going to illegal immigrants who haven't paid a dime into this system? That makes no sense. And he's saying it with a straight face and like he has some ground to stand on. He don't. He doesn't. Nobody is with that shit but him and a handful of other Democrats who keep losing elections and not getting it.
Mayor, I want to keep the scope of this conversation on immigration, and let me hear some more here from Tom Home in Control Room. Let's play that.
I don't want them to be immigration officers. I want them, when they arrest an illegal alien for a serious crime, I'm just asking to find them. I don't want you to hold them a minute more than you have to hold them under your charges, but just work with us and take these public safety threats not only off the streets, but out of the country.
So let me ask you specifically, if you have someone in, CPD takes custody of someone who fits that scenario, that profile, accused of a violent crime in the country illegally, does local law allow you to inform ICE, and will you do that?
Here's what the local law.
Okay, that's a yes or no question, and his ass starting off like that, we already know where this is going. I'm going to let him finish, but I want you to know that was a very simple yes or no, and his answer is obviously not yes. If he has illegal immigrants in his jails in the city of Chicago, and they are being held for serious crimes, his first call, and anybody in his chain of command's first call should be to the federal authorities to get that person removed from the country, or at least in the federal handcuffs where they can take over. Once he's under the authority of the feds, then it's on them. But you cannot, I'm against people being here illegally. They're illegal just being here illegally. And people are going to the point of saying, oh no, only if they commit a crime. Well, goddamn, he's not even on board with that. This would be a very difficult person for me to even think he's my mayor. I would be so outspoken. Who's from there? Common and Kanye West and Jennifer, the singing one. Common's girlfriend or wife. I think they got married. But yeah, what's going on with them? Everybody want to jump out there and sing on the national level for Kamala, and they didn't even know her. They should know the people in their town. They should know Chicago, the city that they've come from. They should be a part of that city. And they should be pissed off that immigrants are about to be given the same opportunities and the same treatment as American citizens. That just shouldn't happen. Chicago should be pissed.
Well, does. First of all, as a sanctuary city, this ordinance was birthed by the first black mayor in the history of Chicago, Mayor Harold Washington. He understood during the Reagan administration as foreign policies disrupted central and...
This dude is just ignorant. He's sitting here talking about the Reagan, and man, he's right. Harold Washington and Ronald Reagan, during that time, all the inner cities was getting gutted for any kind of program that benefited poor people in those cities. From housing to working opportunities, it just was like really black people had to be a little more motivated than normal because there was no help. Reagan was like cutting us off at the knees as far as that stuff went. And he's talking about Harold Washington worrying about immigration and immigrants during that time. He should have been 100% lock focused on black people and the transition that we were going through. Because we had fought all through the 60s, and the 70s was kind of like a period where nobody really knew what to do. And I guess the government figured out to make the first move because we didn't, and kind of found a place where they like us to be comfortably for them. And it doesn't work for us, but we have not been able to fight effectively to get out of it. And we have to. And as long as we got folks like him who's diverting the fight and taking away resources and energy from the fight to help illegal immigrants, I don't know, folks, if it'll ever happen or if it's going to just be delayed because of elected officials like Brandon Johnson there.
South America, he made it very clear that the city of Chicago will serve as refuge for people around the globe. And so there's a strong black liberation presentation that comes out of the city of Chicago as
it relate to what? It's supposed to be black people. Now you're talking about illegal immigrants. Is that what Chicago is known for? Being a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants? I mean, what is it really known for? Or are you trying to change what it's being known for? Or are you just trying to do your own thing? Because I just don't see how you could have campaigned on sanctuary city type shit for Chicago and get voted in. I just don't think that's how you campaigned.
To be in a sanctuary city. Look, the law is very clear. Local police officers are not federal agents. That is clear. This so-called border czar seems to be getting educated more and more throughout, his speaking tour. It's unfortunate, though, that there is an abominable ignorance that exists within the Trump administration that continues to displace
illegal immigrants is what he's about to say. But how can the federal government not get it? They got it. If you're here illegally, they want you out. This man is saying something to the contrary of that. Who's right and who's wrong here? Who's helping the American people and who's hurting them? I don't see how housing illegal immigrants in our country is helping any of us. I don't. I do believe having a system in which they can become a part of this country is beneficial to us, but not this shit that we're doing, and not what this guy is talking about. Brandon Johnson is a complete idiot. There's no way I want to live in Chicago. Who knows? But I got my own problems out here in California. Believe me, we got sanctuary state status, so we need to work on ourselves too out here. Believe me. Hopefully we'll learn something for what you guys are about to go to with this one. And we got Karen Bass. That's what I'm saying. What does all these black people fight so hard to become mayors for? So they can not help black people at all? Any? None? Or is that the word on the street? You guys just ain't supposed to. Because we got all this black representation all over the United States, but not one black person's fighting for black people. You just got black faces all over the place. We need to do work on that, folks. All right, folks, I'm out of here on this one. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you on the next one.